start shortly, 7:05. Just taking a brief grace period to let folks get settled in. Thank you all for coming out. No problem, Matt. For those who haven't checked out, if you look at the bottom, you see a couple icons. So you have the microphone icon, a video icon, and the chat icon. If you tap on the chat icon, it'll take you to our chat, and you'll be able to see the agenda posted, and also some links you can copy and paste and keep for yourself. We'll have our mods possibly resharing this information if it gets lost in chat as well.
We're going to have kind of an open discussion towards the end and like a Q&A period, so feel free to come on camera if you're willing. The point of this meeting is also to kind of get to know each other and see each other face to face. So if you're willing, hi Ray, hi Rich.
Hi Rich.
Hi there.
Hi Carissa. It's nice to see everyone. And folks will be able to like come off mute and, shoot us any questions or, any reactions to anything we're saying as well. So we want this to be kind of collaborative.
Absolutely. So after each slide, feel free to drop any questions, come off mic, and address anything that you would like to share.
Totally. And if you're feeling shy, you can also just drop it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone actually hearing me? Just wondering.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm Ruby.
All right, 7:02. We'll get started 7:05 sharp. Thank you so much for your patience.
I'm so glad we moved over to Jitsi so we can see people.
Yeah. I do know the audience. I think it's the stage channel in the Discord. I do want to test that out. I keep hearing it gives you room to do different things. It doesn't have like a cap or limit to share, come off screen or whatnot. So we'll test it out in the future.
And we're not getting started for another 2 minutes. If there's anyone you know that wants to join or you think would be interested, it's not too late to just shoot them the link. It's in the chat. It's pretty easy to join. You can text a few more folks if they were interested in hearing more about GSUS. Just send them the Jitsi link and they can join late. That's fine.
Sweet. Just before we get started, just like to remind everyone, you can check in the chat. So if you look at the screen at the bottom, you see a microphone icon, a video icon, and a chat icon. If you tap the chat, you'll be able to see our agenda and some links that you can copy and paste for later use.
Everyone, let us know where you're from in the chat. Honolulu. Oh, Portland, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Western Mass, Bay Area, San Francisco, Philly, Scottsdale, Arizona, Western Maine, Harrisburg, PA, Iowa, Kansas, Colorado, Atlanta, Maine, New Orleans, Virginia, Portland, Southern Cali, New York City. Whoa, so sick. All right, Day, should we get started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started.
We really do be
Jaden, are you
national.
gonna? Jaden, are you gonna share the PowerPoint, or is it already shared and I'm just being dumb?
Do you guys see it? Should share my screen.
It's up. I can see it. Can you see it, Eliza?
I'm
Oh,
gonna share my screen shared.
okay. Sorry, I'm dumb. Okay, everyone, it is so cool to see everyone here. This is the General Strike US Coalition meeting. Whether you're new or you've been around a while, we're so excited to have you here to talk about organizing a general strike here in the United States. I'll pass it to Day.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Eliza. Jaden, if you can just go to the next screen, please. All right, so just to let you all know, this meeting is recorded. You can check it out later on our YouTube. Also, just to give you all a couple house rules.
Day, I think you got muted somewhere in there. Or maybe your connection is bad. There you go.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. So once again, thank you, Eliza, for that introduction. Just to let you all know that the meetings are recorded and you can check it out for later on our YouTube. Just a couple house rules to go over. We want to be respectful. This is a very communal space as well. We also would like to utilize the raise hand feature to speak. If you like to, we'll try to keep order of the stack and whatnot. So just to go forward, the purpose of this meeting basically is to give you ideas about our structure, goals, and strategies. I'm myself and thrilled to be here at tonight's coalition meeting as it serves multiple purposes. So we have three main goals listed here. One being to introduce ourselves as volunteers with GSUS. We're everyday people who believe in our collective power. We like to fill you in on our purpose, goals, and strategy. Number two, this isn't just about GSUS. As we understand, no one group or individual can do this alone. This meeting is to help you connect with groups, individuals that you resonate with as well. And last but not least, we hope to empower those present to take concrete actions to help build momentum towards this collective effort. Actions that solidify our partnerships, like allowing GSUS to list your group's name on their website to enhance credibility, and also signing and promoting the strike card on your website. Just want like to emphasize, real change. It begins when we work collectively, not as isolated groups or individuals. With that being said, being a united force, that's when this meeting is more than just an introduction. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to connect, to collaborate, and envision a system that truly serves the people by the people. Next slide, please.
I just got chills at that, Day. Um, so we wanted to start off with a little bit of an icebreaker, but since we have over 65 people, um, I think that we're gonna just do it in the chat. So take a minute. We really try to envision a more positive future here at the general strike. If we could have a general strike tomorrow, where 11 million people, that's 3.5% of the population, refuse to go into work, what would be your organ, or just you as an individual, what would be your demand if you could only choose one? So take a minute and write that in the chat. We'll give folks a minute. I know it's a hard question.
Yeah, we can read some out loud too.
get Elon out, universal public health care, women's rights and freedom, constitutional convention, federal minimum wage increase,
Sweet.
freedom and right to education, power to the working class, housing for everyone, funding for migrant programs, out with 45's regime. Oh, it's coming in too fast. No more electoral college. Institute mechanisms that are anti-corruption and pro-transparency in the government. End Project 2025, universal basic income, social democracy, make top 1% pay taxes, housing, get money out of elections, more climate change, a wealth cap. Yes. Awesome.
Right on.
Eliminate billionaires. Yeah, sick. I agree with all of these. Take down capitalism and just institute a, better economic system. Sweet. All right. Thanks, everyone. Jaden, you can go to the next slide.
Oh, sweet. This is a fun one. So who we are. First, I'd just like to briefly introduce myself again. My name is Day. I help organize with our General Strike Detroit Downriver chapter. I go by they and them pronouns. Overall, GSUS, we're a decentralized network of volunteers aimed at mobilizing at least 3.5% or more of the population to actively participate in sustainable efforts. This initiative is designed to prepare for a general strike. This is about us taking ownership of our future through sustainable people-led actions that lay the foundation for real lasting change. Every step we take, whether it be small or big, adds on to the infrastructure we need to sustain this strike initiative and the broader movement overall. Self-determination is at the heart of this effort. We're not waiting for solutions to be handed to us by those in perceived positions of power. Instead, we're creating them together. Solutions that reflect our values, collective sustainability, equity, and justice. So this isn't about a short-term wins. It's about preparing for the long haul, ensuring that this movement doesn't just survive but thrives. So we want to promote solution-focused activism over doomerism. Next slide, please.
Sweet. Why a general strike? So I think we all know that we have tried voting and we have tried protesting and it has not worked. So this movement is really about recognizing that our greatest power under capitalism is our labor, and our ability to withhold our labor. I think we all know that, under capitalism, those in power are those with the most money. And only when we, seize control over the means of production can we take our power back. So this movement is about taking things a step further, and using our collective power, because there are way more of us than there are of them. And to introduce myself, I'm Eliza. I work more on the website and kind of behind the scenes stuff. And, we built the website in 2022 because, well, for me personally, Roe v. Wade was overturned and something kind of just broke inside me where I realized I can't keep, getting up, going to work, contributing to a system that's trying to take my rights away over my own body. That just felt like a step too fucking far. So when we joined this coalition of a ton of groups that have been organizing for a general strike for decades, we all got together and we realized that we actually are going to need at least 3.5 of the population to be successful. And that would be 11 million people. And I've organized strikes of fast food workers across the country to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And the goals during those strikes was 200 people, 300 fast food workers, 400 fast food workers. And I know how hard it was to get those folks to walk off the job. So we knew that we would need a model that was completely dispersed and decentralized so that power and authority could be distributed throughout our network. And we knew that we'd need advanced technological tools so that we could scale up to 11 million people and experience the kind of viral explosive growth that we would need to see a general strike in our lifetimes. So that was the purpose of the website. We were never, interestingly, the goal was not to create our own organization. It was actually to unite all the people already doing the work, all those fighting for racial, economic, and climate justice already, to just bring folks together under a common action and force everyone to realize that under capitalism, all of our fights are intertwined. They're all the same, and we need to overthrow capitalism. We need to take our power back as workers if we're going to achieve any of the demands that we want for economic, racial justice, climate justice, and to change our political system so that it works on behalf of the people. Anyway, that was a mouthful. Next slide. I'm done. So that's why a general strike for me.
All right. So just before we get started with the coalition strike needs, is it all right if we just take any questions? I don't want to move too
Yes,
fast.
totally.
All right. So if you all have any questions over anything that's been covered so far, any of the slides, please come off mute or drop them in the chat.
We'll have a longer period of Q&A and discussion later, but if anything has just not been clear, let us know. So one question I think is helpful to go over now: how do we defend against bad actors and ops infiltrating this? So that goes back to why we are decentralized. We are kind of modeling this network out off of a starfish. Take a spider. A spider is, has a head and legs, and if you cut off the head of a spider, it will die. But we want our organization, our network, to be more like a starfish, where if you cut off any piece of it, it can just grow back. We think that's the strongest way to make us impervious to attack from the outside, is to create redundancy and to make sure power and authority is distributed everywhere, so that if one piece of the puzzle gets removed, then we can all continue. But yes, we'll get to unions later. Let's keep going, and then we'll come back to some of these great questions.
Right on. So the coalition strike needs. So some of them may seem out of reach, but they all can embody smaller actions and support to obtaining each one. So when we do take action, more than likely, we'll be occupying our own communities once these systems have been established to meet the people's needs, and we want to make sure that we're prepared to do so. So just starting off, land is a strike need. We strive to create physical infrastructures, whether it be like a base location for one of our chapters, a land, housing, a co-op. Many of our members and society as a whole are at the whims of expensive and unsuitable housing, or being criminalized for not having a home at the moment. So this is something this coalition should be able to relieve until demands have been met. So we have mutual aid, which comes in all shapes and sizes and forms. Aid can be medical, health, and hygiene supplies, clothing, anything that one will go to for a Walmart or a Myers for. We should be able to make available within our own aid sustainable systems. So ensuring those who depend on these corporations will no longer need them. We can also include time banking, bartering, trading, free stores, all can qualify under this aid. So moving to the next one, we have food sovereignty, which is something according to our own capabilities and capacity. It's something we all have the power to contribute to, whether it's sharing information about a resource, about a pantry or whatnot in your community, or helping to establish an actual community food cooperative, and everything in between, like gardens and so on and so on. Next slide. Coalition strike needs. So we have a community defense intervention. It's very crucial based on the fact police, ICE are becoming more and more militarized and lacking the training and heart to properly serve and protect the people. So if we advocate for things like divestment, we must also create the alternatives such as community defense, intervention, and patrol, which is basically simply getting to know your community and being there in your community's time of need. Education is our first line of defense. We want to prepare workshops, groups, or individuals can also help with this. Community discussions. We want folks educated on what this is, why it is, and what it can be. The general strike as a whole. We want people knowledgeable of how to solve everyday problems within their community. How to's. With it, you can find how-tos for like mutual aid, how to do community gardens, pantries, and so on, and our resources link, which will continue to grow and develop as we move forward, especially with more connections that are made. We don't want to reinvent the wheel for everything. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of resources out there. We just have to organize and get it all in one centralized spot. All right, so fundraising. This can be practiced in different ways. We've been doing so by practicing owning the means of production and utilizing our GSUS designs to fundraise to support. You can check out our link tree. It's basically helping fund some of our chapters. It's just now in its beginning stages, but we hope it definitely continues to grow. Fundraising can come in direct donations, so you can donate to our strike fund on our website or to some of our chapters. Like my chapter, we have our own Cash App and whatnot. There are also material donations that you can contribute. Items such as food, clothing, blankets, medical supplies. A lot of these things can also be done through the local and regional coalition circles. Also, crowdfunding campaigns is also good. Setting up platforms to invite contributors from the outside who would still like to contribute to this collective effort. Next slide, please.
So strike demands, obviously this comes up all the time, but we have so far to go. We're maybe not even 3% of the way to 11 million, but strike demands are going to be made more concrete once we reach about 6 million individuals. All the leaders of all the organizations and networks that have representation, of folks that are striking will come together in a sort of conference, and we will finalize the demands. Currently, we have a really broad list that are available on our website and our welcome packet. It's everything that you guys already mentioned at the beginning of this meeting. And we know that the coalition members are already advocating for these demands. So the general strike is just about doing what we know we have to do under capitalism to make, those in power listen to us. We are also going to probably use some really advanced technology, perhaps Polis. We're kind of loosely connected to actually the Minister of Technology of Taiwan, Audrey Tang, who has developed a system that instead of voting in Taiwan, it's a system of using really advanced technology to crowdsource public opinion from really large groups. So we're going to be making sure that, we're, as always, using cutting edge technology to make specific demands. Cool. Next slide. Taking action. Is this me too? Yeah, sorry.
I can help out.
No. My brain is working slowly. So there's just so many ways to get involved. There's literally an unlimited number of ways you can help. The best way probably is filling out a resources and skills form that's on our welcome packet. It can help us just like connect you to, other folks in the network that are doing the same work. But also hosting the Stray card on your website or platform. If you're an influencer or an organization with a lot of folks, we have both the ability to get you your unique strike link so that you can actually track who's signing up via your link. And attending meetings. You can start a local chapter, you can start a local page. I met with an 81-year-old woman a few days ago who wants to write about us on Medium, and she has 6,000 followers there. So she's going to be our own kind of like journalist for the general strike. We were just reached out by a production company that does like media and filming, and they want to make videos of us. So like it's just, we have gotten this far and we're going to continue to grow because we are good at encouraging and empowering people to do what they are passionate about and what is fun to them and what they're good at. No one here is getting paid to do this work. So it shouldn't feel like work. It should be fun because it's going to take a while and it's a marathon, not a sprint. So the best thing for you to do is just think about how you can promote the idea of a general strike in your community best. And we're here to help you figure that out. If you just want to donate to one of the GoFundMe's, that's super helpful too. We're trying to harness a peer-to-peer texting platform so that we could do better outreach and distribute lists to our local hubs so that not all the data is in the same place. Social media collaboration, etc. There's just an endless possibility. So with that, I think that was the last slide. Yeah, so should we, Day and Jaden, should we open it up for like more of an open discussion now, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna open up to a discussion. I think some people would like to speak. I'm getting some notifications. I think Alexander first. If we can unmute them or if they can come off of mute.
I thought it was open. I don't want to talk if we're not open yet.
You're good.
Okay. Well, not to sound like a nerd, but if we're talking about trying to obviously spread the idea of inspiring people, but has anybody read or because I'm visually impaired, so I listen to the audiobook version, but the book Fantasyland by Kurt Anderson, because it's literally just the history of America, and he talks about how we as a country have this really unique literally just magical thinking, but it's the way that we tend to be inspired by really odd things, and it's just a very interesting breakdown of it. But it's the way he breaks it down and the way he talks about our history. It's the way he breaks it down, I think, is a good way to kind of get an idea of kind of how you can kind of inspire people, just because it kind of is. I'm trying to think how to phrase it without basically, because if you really understand history and you know history, you would know our founding fathers are not the way that they're built up. Like when you learn in class, they're not they weren't these old super knowledgeable people. They were literally a bunch of drunk college kids who met in a bar and just decided that they were going to overthrow a monarchy. And they we should have been taxed. That we really should have, because the monarchy fought a war for us. We really should have, but they didn't agree with some of the things the monarchy was doing, so they came up with a catchy slogan. They put that catchy slogan out there. They got a bunch of people incited, and then we overthrew the monarchy. That's literally how the country got started. We created a government system that had never existed before. We've done a bunch of crazy things that never happened before. We are a very, very unique country, but we also have done a lot of crazy things that have never happened before. So it's a very interesting dichotomy of things that that is America, basically. But that's what the basis of the book is. It's why it's fantasy land. It's just a very interesting thing, but it's a good book to listen to or to read. If you kind of, like I said, as far as inspiring and kind of knowing and understanding how we got here, but just be kind of understanding America in general.
Cool. It's on my list. I'm gonna get it from the library.
Yeah, it's a good book, and I just like his reading in general. But it's also nice to know the history of it.
And also, can we there's over 70 people here. I didn't realize, and I know a lot of people want to ask their questions. Can we try to keep responses under a minute, just to keep things moving?
And I do know it's 4 hands raised. So we do see the number of people, but if you can just write stack in the chat, then I can keep order of who would like to speak next. Thank you so much. All right, so I see Story. We'll just start there. Story, if you'd like to come off mute, and then CT and Kaden. Thank you so much. We'll follow this order.
Hi, my name's Story. I've been with GSUS for about 5 or 6 months. And we have so many new people coming every day, and it's been really exciting. Also, I just want to warn all the newcomers. Everyone's a little overwhelmed because it's suddenly going very fast compared to how it had been the first couple months I was there, and the couple, the time prior to that. So yeah, I think something I just want to say for a lot of new people coming into a decentralized movement for the first time, at this really triggering time. There's so much going on. We are all exhausted. We are all frustrated. There's a sense of urgency that's being pushed on us by the media and by our own adrenaline and fear and worry and compassion for all the things that are happening, right? And I guess I just have, a request for everyone coming into this for the first time to just try to breathe and listen and remember that things have been bad for someone in this country the whole time. You know what I mean? This has always been urgent. More people are being affected every day. But this has been going on for a long time, and all of these problems, even if they slowed down, none of it would be fixed by going back to 2010, right? And I just I hope that people that join us come into this with more hope than fear and a readiness to meet us where we're at with what we've been doing, and remember that the urgency is this kind of oppressive colonistic force that says that this is sudden and new and different, when really this has been going on for a long time. And I think that when we approach it as long-term goals that affect, for everyone's benefit, it's easier to break it into smaller parts that are more manageable and get people into work where they're strongest, working together and forming community. That was probably more than a minute, but I appreciate how big this is growing, and I'm so excited to have so many new people coming every time. And I just think that we're all scared, right? There's a lot of scary stuff happening every day. And it's important to remember that we're here for each other, and this is about solutions and not just a spiral of panic, right? Yeah, over. Thank you for coming.
Peace. Thanks, Story, for sharing that. We're gonna move on to CT.
Hello there. I am a physician who's working out of the Eastern Washington right now. And thank you, Story, for that, because I really wanted to actually kind of piggyback off on that. The times seem really difficult, and I think it can be easy to feel overwhelmed. But I think the diagnosis that I would have to give our communities right now is we're suffering from terminal cynicism. It's a lot of that and a lot of failed hopes that ended up leading to a sort of just burn it all down movement that we're seeing the results of. And unsurprisingly, it's not as good as they thought it would be. So I would strongly recommend for all of you, if you're looking for something that feeds and empowers you to kind of move against the dominant current of cynicism here, there is a book called Hope for Cynics. An excellent read, and it goes into both real life stories and the science of um, hatred, hope, and basically learning a new and more positive way of looking at life. And when we're being told that we need to think cynically so that we're disempowered to act, I think this is kind of the antidote. Now, I did want to ask for the more experienced heads in the group here. My understanding is at this point we need to be building awareness and coalition, getting people to sign up for the strike cards, and potentially establishing or networking with local chapters. Is that am I correct in assuming that's priority one right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then is there a list anywhere of currently established chapters? Because I did look for that and had trouble finding it.
No problem, CT. And thank you for sharing that. I also jotted down a book that you shared. But if you look in our resources link tree, you'll see something called, I believe it's GSUS chapters in social media. So there'll be a list of chapters who's starting pages. Some of them are boots on the ground organizing, and some of them are just doing online activism. But there may be one active in your area, and if not, we are looking definitely looking for more volunteers to get more chapters started.
Another
Absolutely. Thank you, Day. I appreciate that.
another good thing to do, CT, is just join right now. Our current infrastructure is this Discord of like 1,500 organizers and volunteers, and we have state channels for every single state with active folks in each one. So if your chapter isn't listed, I would just go into the Discord. I put the link. The link's all over. You should be able to find it.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I'm
join
in the
this.
Discord, so we should be good
Okay.
there.
Cool. Sorry.
Perfect. Then I'll chat with them and see if there's anything set up on the side of the state. Thank you.
And just start a chapter if you want more folks in your area. I distribute contacts to local hubs who are ready to do the outreach and plug them into local action. So just if you want to email info@generalstrikeus.com, that's fine too.
Awesome. So we'll continue with the stack. So we have Caden up next.
Hi, I'm Caden. It's I'm really excited about a lot of what is to come. I feel like this feels really like impactful and very like energetic and very sparky, and that's a very good benefit, but also a very like careful line to teeter. I think because I feel like this could possibly, at the rate it's going, it's kind of building really fast. So like, what ways do you think we can like organize that a little bit, especially with like having it on one platform and like making sure that there isn't like suddenly a flood of like bots or something like that. Like,
We had a flood of bots already.
oh really? Okay.
CAPTCHA, one word, helped a
Right.
lot.
Okay. I think
No, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's a genius question, and I think about it every day, and it stresses me out and keeps me up at night. So,
okay. I'm glad that there is at least worry about it because I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about that. But specifically, I think we should like this is just my personal opinion on like the organization a little bit. Structure more towards the it's definitely going towards the education route, but like how do we structure that education to be more of a public like outcry in one direct source, like some direct sources? Is do we just like pile it into our own individual lives type thing and then create that credit, I guess? Sorry, that was a lot of words.
I can answer. Hopefully, I can answer the question correctly. But I do know as far as like education, we do take it very seriously. So I know it will continue to develop. Currently, we only have political education, and that's being shared in the Discord, and it's also being streamed on our YouTube. Now, the goal is definitely to get more. Videos, more general strike content, conversations being held on this YouTube, whether it be podcast style or any other style, art form, to bring a lot of these conversations to light, a lot of these solutions and practices and so on.
I also just like we do not own the concept of a general strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we need to see ourselves as the like answer to all of these questions.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, like we're
Mm-hmm.
not building an organization with like a board of directors and like 501c3 status. Like we're not one entity. Like we're trying to empower, everyone with this collective like idea that is actually quite simple. Stop working. So it's like if everyone can just embody that and take that to their own lives and their own networks, then like we are limitless. Um so like try to think away from like how are we fixing all of our organization, like we're not trying to build an empire here. Like we're just trying to empower other people to go do what they need to do to strike, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I don't have much else to say. Sorry.
Great questions.
Sweet. So next we have Ray Katz.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Okay, good to know. I'm going to be really brief. I just found out about this group a couple of weeks ago. I had the pleasure of chatting with some of the folks from there. I'm the founder of a group called the Saners. We are saners.org. I am super enthusiastic about this group, and I am trying to rally my own troops to support this action and this direction you guys are taking. I'm going to be really brief though. I spent about 2 years studying the history of movements, talking with people involved in movements. I have helped found this group, but I don't have the background. I only have what I've been learning as I go along. But I will say, from everything I read and everything I've studied, I really, really believe that this group is super important, that you guys are on the right track, that although normally strikes come much later in movements, I think the circumstances in the United States today make it very possible that we can do this pretty damn soon. If you guys didn't set up this infrastructure with the counter and all that jazz, and I don't think it would have happened. And I think it's certainly not guaranteed, but it can happen. And the fact that you guys made it possible really makes me excited. One other thing, I've just, our group has been writing about your group. Our group, we just put out a video today on the Saners YouTube channel. So if you go to the website, wearesaners.org, and click on the YouTube channel icon, you'll be able to see that. Hopefully it motivates more people to sign up. We also have the strike card on our site. I'm going to put my email down here so that if anyone wants to reach me, they can. We happen to be in Philadelphia, so if you're in Philadelphia and want to, be in contact with me, this email should help you. And it's in there now. And thank you very much. I don't want to take up more of your time.
Oh, that just made my weekend. can we list you as one of our partners on our website, on our partner
We
page?
would be honored to be
Yay.
listed.
Yay. Okay. So nice. So great. Thanks. Thank you so much. And I spoke to someone who heard about us from the Saners, who is going to start writing the Medium. So that was because of you. And I love when, you know, this is what it's all about. So thank you.
Sweet. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ray. It was nice hearing from you again. So we'll continue with the stack. Just so we can stay on time at 7:44, and we just want to respect everyone's time as well. So next we have Rand.
Hey comrades, how you doing? I'm from the NYC chapter. We just started up recently, got moving. We had a really successful meeting. Our first meeting, we had like, I think 20 people, something like that. And we've set up a few action groups. Eliza hopped on, that was very helpful. Thank you, Eliza. Just a couple questions, things that have been coming up a lot. That maybe we have answers for, maybe we don't. I mean, these are general strike questions, as in not maybe specific to the organizing of what we're doing, but also some that are specific. So, the two main questions that I've been hearing coming up is this 11 million number that we're getting it's 3.5% of the population. At what point, if we're not quite getting that 11 million, but we feel like we're ready, how stuck in our ways are we about that number? Because a lot of people were very intimidated. As we just said, we're like 2% of the way there. A lot of people are very intimidated by this number, and also a lot of people don't love the strike cards. They don't, we're working in activist communities where like Ren is that's not my name. Like most of us are like incognito on most platforms. So to them be writing out like a zip code, an email, a phone number is just like not the kinds of people that I'm working with are not trying to do that. So do we have any solutions around that to still get an estimate? Maybe like the chapters, like if the NYC chapter can say, hey, we've got 150 people that are down to do it tomorrow. Would you guys take our word for it? Do you still need those strike cards? Like, how are we going to go about that?
Yeah.
Should I throw in a couple of questions?
Why don't we answer that?
Yeah.
Why don't we answer that? Because these are really, really good questions, and then we can do the other questions as well.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so when usually when we go on strike, internally, organizers have a lot of internal metrics that maybe are not, publicized. So with fast food workers, we would do strike commit, second reconfirmation. Where are we picking? Like, we would just get further and further into the weeds of like, where are we picking you up? Are you staying at the hotel the night before? Like, a lot of kinds of reconfirmations to make sure that number is firm. So to answer your question about like, how are we going to know the legitimacy of the numbers? Like, I don't think we're going to be ready before we hit 11 million, but also we're working on a lot of like big partnerships right now. We're kind of in touch with UAW, the union that called for a general strike in 2028. We're going to work with them, and it's going to be a long process of firming up the numbers. But this has come up a lot this week, is like, people don't want to list their zip code. They don't want to list their phone number. My hunch from organizing is if folks are in a place where they're not comfortable with their like identity being out there, they're not comfortable putting down like a phone number or a zip code, like that's fine. But it's hard for me to believe then that they're gonna walk off their job, not go to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, that commitment level, that action item is like here, and like people give their phone numbers to like every single, online, like when they make a purchase online, or when they sign up for Netflix. Do you know what I mean? I just, the phone number and the zip code is an intentional request, because we want a list of 11 million people that are ready to go. We don't want a list of 11 million people who think that a general strike is a cool idea. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we have phone number and zip code there, as well as we need to be able to distribute lists to regional captains and actually do the outreach of calling people, meeting up with people, discussing a strike plan. Because, you know, there's a lot more that goes into going on strike than goes into just showing up to a protest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I will just say that I think the concern with the phone number and the zip code is less so about sort of lack of commitment to the idea, but more
Yeah.
so like just that's my information going into, and I filled out a strike card, but a lot of the organizers I'm talking about, these are people that would, you know, they will they have striked before, they will strike again. They're more than down. It's about this is a very decentralized org that is organizing mostly on Discord. From what they see, they don't really understand it. They're a little iffy on just the GSUS in general.
Yeah.
So to just be handing off their information and go into some database that they don't fully understand is just
Right.
they're
And they
just
don't
not
have
loving.
to. You
Yeah.
know, like, we created the strike card as a tool so that we could have some quantifiable visual of how close we are to reaching a general strike. Because
Yeah.
before the strike card, you know, a lot of groups were saying October 1st, March 1st, May Day general strike. And there was no way of knowing how many people were actually going to strike.
Yeah.
So if the strike card doesn't work for them, like, that is so fine. Like, you know, they don't have, like, that's our tool. That it was the best tool we could think of. But, you know, if they're going to be like on the ground promoting the idea of a general strike, it's just for me, organizing is about, like, you have to be organized to
Yeah.
organize. Like,
Yeah.
and like with a strike, like, that it requires even more organization, because like I had to know exactly who was going on strike from which McDonald's stores in California so that I knew which stores to go to put the strike notice under the door and say, these people are walking off, they're protected under the National Labor Relations Act, they're requesting $15 an hour in a union, and they'll be back tomorrow, because that physical paper notice protected them from losing their job.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I, like, as a network, like, we want to protect people and make sure people are safe, and, you know, this goes as well as possible, and like, we need to be organized, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know I don't want to take up too much time, so I want to quickly just jump into
yeah.
another, and I think I've heard it come up in the chat a lot. Just as always, whenever we talk about a strike, well, when we strike, how our material needs going to be met, our immediate needs can be met. And obviously the answer for a lot of us is like, well, that's why we're building these mutual aid networks. That's why we need to continue to build and grow these mutual aid networks. But if we're also, you know, people are going to lose their jobs if the strike continues for any, you know, serious amount of time, which it likely will. People are going to be losing their jobs, and if people are striking on rent, people can be, you know, looking at eviction. Now, I know a lot of the answers to that personally, like because I have my interest in it. Could we be posting more stuff on like what it means to pack the courts? You know, like most states have very like quite relaxed and quite free eviction policies where you can stay in that residence for almost a year before you're really getting your locks changed. Can we be posting and just sort of spreading more of that sort of information that gets people feeling a bit better about material needs? And then my final question was just in general, the Instagram is a very big platform, and currently it's been used for a lot of like mutual aid call outs and like GoFundMe links and that sort of thing. And I would never discourage that, but like long term, is that how we're feeling? Like, we're going to continue to use that platform? Do we want to tailor it more, have it a bit more streamlined? And do we want to try and collab with some of these other really big platforms to sort of get more attention on the general strike? Sort of just that name kind of does a lot of work in of itself. So yeah, that's it.
Day, do you want to speak to mutual aid? And then I can speak to the Instagram. I agree that it needs to be cleaned up. I don't run it, but I know
Mhm.
the folks that do, and I agree with you.
So as far as like establishing sustainable systems.
Yeah, I mean, mutual
Mm-hmm.
aid's just not my area. Our plan is
Yeah.
like the DSA strike fund is huge. The Amazon Labor Union strike fund is big. Unions have big old strike funds. We need to get more people so that we can like partner with, the big players that actually have a lot of money dedicated for supporting striking workers. And so that's our plan. But in terms of like mutual aid, that's like, and the
Yeah, I
farm
got you.
gardening, that's not my area.
So along with the resources from the organizations, we definitely want to empower ourselves as individuals. Like I say, promoting self-determination, collective sustainability, and we see a lot of groups already doing so. We see the Black Panther Party with their survival programs. We see groups like Cooperation Jackson implementing cooperatives such as land and housing cooperatives. Like the possibilities are out there. So when we are talking about utilizing our chapters, we are encouraging each chapter to apparently not reinvent the wheel for everything, but support already pre-existing solutions, building these local coalitions and regional coalitions to meet a lot of these needs. I like to use Malcolm X's quote when they say, we're not outnumbered, we're unorganized. So the resources, are out there, the groups are out there. Like we said earlier, this is just a hub to connect and organize those resources and those skill sets. And our resource and skills forum plays a big role in that. But our general strike chapters, once again, are encouraged to establish their own services, programs, support local initiatives that can align and help meet certain strike demands and logistics and things of that nature. So connecting with local food cooperatives, or if you have the resources to do so and the time to do so, establishing more cooperatives, whether it's food, workers, lands, and things of that nature. Even smaller programs, through time banking or community gardens. All of these may seem small, but they add to the infrastructure that's needed for us to strike. So we always want to remember, like, yes, we want bigger organizations on board with this, but we also would like to start practicing collective sustainability on our own. We are more than capable of doing so. We are more than capable of seeing the problems within our communities and working to fix those. If I see there's an area, in Detroit, and it's a lack of food, my goal as an organizer, as an activist, is to get out there, talk to the people, assess the people's needs, and we come together with the resources we have, regardless if it's small resources, bigger resources, and we come together to feed the people. By any means necessary. So a lot of these things, and I know each community will look different, but we all have the capability of assessing our communities and doing the work that needs to be done to rectifying a lot of these problems. I'm not saying it's easy, because a lot of times it can be hard. Myself, my work is unstable. I job hop a lot. I hate working under capitalism, but I work here and there. But by any means necessary, I get the means to go feed my community. I do a lot of feeding the people for free. And while I'm feeding the people, I'm talking to the people. I'm letting them know about the General Strike US, letting them know how they can get involved. And if we, I connect with all types of individuals. My focus hasn't just been on the employed. I've been connecting with the unhoused, the incarcerated individuals, but the unhoused community, you feed them, they'll be more than happy to work on a project. They'll be more than happy to help you, establish a food pantry and whatnot, especially if you educate them on the purpose of it. We're helping the community. We're helping ourselves. I don't know if I just went on a rant. I definitely hope that helps, because that's also the other aspect of this, a people-led initiative to organize our collective resistance.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's sort of my method too. In the city, we got great mutual aid systems here. We just gotta keep building on them and letting people know where they are, because a lot of people don't even know there's mutual
Mhm.
aid happening like down the block from them. So,
And connect with those groups too. Like our chapter, eventually we'll have our local coalition meeting, but I use our broad list of strike demands to connect with local orgs. I've been connecting with the Palestinian youth chapters. They talk about divesting and whatnot. Our strike demands reflect that. Also police brutality. It's so many possibilities out there. I can go on and on and on, but I'm gonna chill out because it's 7:59. I know. I think Story also. If I look in the chat, Story also has something to add too, and then we have someone else, and we'll probably cut it soon.
Yeah. I wanted to just expand a little on like the education and resources. So like one of the things that we're trying to do is make the resources more available so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel when they're taking these projects into their community, and making multiple redundant methods of accessing it, whether it be through the Discord. We're working on a wiki. There's a whole bunch of projects that are in the beginning stages, but we finally have the manpower to do it. So if you have the impetus to work on some of this education and orienting and organizing, I think that there's definitely an area of need within the larger community. I think that something to consider when we're talking about like local community needs, some of it will need to be on a larger scale, because like in a rural area where your local strikers, maybe you eventually have 20 or 30 people, you still might only have one person with diabetes. So like one of the projects that I was doing research on earlier was finding like anti-capitalist co-op pharmacist organizations that if you have a prescription can like legally get you medication without insurance, which is like a community need that a lot of people have been asking about. So I've been trying to find a good answer, because we're not going to sacrifice our disabled community members just because it's not a need the entire local community has, right? And I think that like there are a lot of things that people come in really worried about, and they're really valid, but we don't have an immediate answer. But like there's a lot of things that we're trying to get organized around and trying to make possible. And I think that when with a little creativity and a little bit of like understanding that these things have been done with like on the sidelines of the system, like around the system, within the laws for a long time. It's just that people make a really people try to hide it. People try to silence it. People try to make it sound ineffective because it's not profitable. And that's what's valued in the society. But these things exist. So like we just need to make them accessible and get them to people and create the redundancy and help people get educated. Like that's a major step. I think that's sort of like central thesis to a lot of things people are talking about right now. Over.
Thanks, Story. So just to move on, I believe Alexander had their hand up, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to comment. I know people are saying like, well, people are scared or wondering about like how it's hard to do things or whatever. But like, Mike, I just wanted to make a quick comment. Like, I'm chronically ill. Uh, I'm currently on SSDI. I was on it before this. I just want to say my first week of the Trump term was I was doing some activist stuff prior to like as it started, and then I got a very very bad MRI result. Learning that the brain tumor I thought was dealt with because I had a whole like fun thing with a surgery thing last year apparently was not dealt with, and then now I have to start doing treatment for it again. So that was my first week of the Trump term, and that's something that I've been having to deal with. So I'm just saying, it's like I do understand people being worried about it, but I'm also like, this is what the reality is, though. When people are like, okay, but you know, I this is the stakes of it, is like when the programs like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security get taken away, people like me are the ones that suffer. These are the people that are using it, is because like I was literally at a I don't know, it's not really a rally, but like an indivisible meeting thing for the representatives. People are standing outside, and one of the people outside was obviously like she had chemo, like she was, you know, in the process of having chemo and chemotherapy. And it's like she, you know, she was also probably on one of those programs. It's like these are the people who are using it, and these are the people who are going to suffer and who are going to have to, you know, who aren't going to be able to get medical care and stuff. And like that's the people. This is the kind of stuff that, you know, this is the risk. This is this is the stakes. So that's your answer. So like you're saying, okay, well, you know, why should I care? Why should I do this? Why should I risk, like you were saying, why should I risk, you know, the difference between like the Netflix prescription or the subscription or whatever and doing something, or like my job, risking my job or whatever. It's like, well, these are the stakes. And like, and I don't know, maybe it's like my personal sense of justice or whatever. Cause like I said, I was doing this stuff before I even found out about that. And like I'm in school and stuff too, because like I'm also a student. I don't remember who was talking about being a student and stuff. Like I'm also in school, like, and I was planning on going to law school. I still am. I mean, I haven't dropped out or anything. I'm still doing it, but you know, and I'm doing a podcast and stuff. That was my thing of educating people, as I started a podcast and stuff, as I'm trying to like educate people about like, this is how the system works. This is what Social Security and disability and stuff is normally for, is people are on it temporarily while they do stuff like this, because unexpected medical things happen that you don't know, and then that's what they have to deal with, because these are the kinds of things that happen, and you never, you know, you can't, you know, you don't know that that's there, and that's not something you can really like work through. Or like you have a work accident, workers' comp can't really handle that kind of thing. You have to go through like physical therapy, and you have to deal with that for like 3 years, and then eventually you get over that, and then you go back to work, and that's normally what happens. But you know, it's that kind of stuff. So like and then that happens, but it's usually temporary, you know. But so then whoever was talking about that in the chat, that's the education thing. So like, yeah, you can educate people about that kind of stuff, but you know, so like that. But anyway, yeah, so those are the stakes. That's what you can tell people. But yeah, there are real life situations, and that's kind of your answer to what do you tell people. Well, yeah, there's real life people and real life faces you can put to it. Same thing with really any of the causes, really, whether it's trans issues, immigration issues, whatever. There are real people and real faces and names you can put to it.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for sharing that. Right on. I know it possibly resonated with others here. I do see in the chat, we did possibly miss a couple of people. We do apologize for that. We did say an hour for the meeting. And just so you all know, we'll also have a debrief in our welcome meeting in the Discord tomorrow. So if you can, please reach out in the Discord or email us at info@generalstrikeus.com. You can DM me in the Discord as well. But we'll have our weekly welcome meeting for those Discord members, and you know, we can chat then as well. But I don't want to hold up those who do have to go too much longer. I'll just end off the meeting. I definitely hope this gave everyone a sense of purpose and commitment. And we'll try to be consistent with these. So we'll try to do one again for next month. We'll possibly drop the date sometime soon. We'll possibly talk about it tomorrow during our welcome meeting. Yeah, together we are unstoppable. Together we are the system's solution. And thank you all for being here and coming to our coalition meeting. All power to the people.
Power to the people. Thank you so much for being here, as Day said. If you are on our Discord, we will be going about. Bree, just real quick, if you do want to ask that question in the chat or come up, I'll be happy to answer that. But tomorrow we will be going a brief about this meeting in the Sunday meeting tomorrow. I already said that. But if you wanted to hang out there, get a little bit more action, get a little more news, understanding a little bit more what a strike is, you can have that. But if Bree, if you wanted to come off mute for real quick, just to answer your question or type it in chat, we'd be love to have that last second. Sorry we didn't get to you when we could have. Of course, if you need
Bree,
to
are
leave,
you
it is that out. Oh, muted. But yeah, it is an hour over. So if you do have to go, please go. We're not holding anyone up, and these are recorded. These will be uploaded on our YouTube. So if you miss it,
Can you
don't
hear
worry.
me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I was saying, no, I was just saying that it's a personal thing where I just hate interrupting, and so I just sit and stew and then get mad at myself because I'm stewing and have something to say, which I was looking at the link tree and you guys have a Chicago branch. Does that mean that we don't need any more branches in Illinois? I mean, or is that, you know what I mean? Like,
The more
does,
the merrier.
okay. That's basically
Uh,
all I needed. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know. I mean, I could email you guys about the rest of that, but I just wanted to know because, like, 3 hours to get to Chicago. I mean, this is a big state, and I'm just still getting used to it. Having moved here a year ago, I'm just, a lot of people don't realize how big it is, unfortunately. But that's all I needed. Thank you.
Are you on our Discord, Bree?
Yeah, I'm on Discord, but I have my name where if you don't ping or DM me, then you may as well forget it. Because I probably am gonna miss you, unfortunately. Because I've become like a networker. I am in a lot of different places gathering information. I'm also the city rep for Springfield, Illinois 50501. I have my own site. So yeah, I just the other day said the heck with this. I can't have people thinking that I'm ignoring you when I'm not. I just am busy. So
So I dropped my email in the chat. If you're
okay.
not on Discord that often, definitely reach out. We understand states are very big and we need more than just one in the state. We can try to connect you to the active Chicago chapter already, and you all can definitely try to collaborate so you're not doing this alone and you'll have the support. But we definitely more want more than one chapter in the state, in the area, in the region.
No, it's not that I'm not active. I think I'm too active. But yeah, I'll reach out to you. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Okay. Good night, guys.
Good night. So yeah, we do want our chapters to be, it could be as small as a neighborhood if you want, but generally a state is what we define a chapter to be. And of course, you know, we can go to smaller cities, which is what preferred because you connect more community with more people around you. It's hard to get people from one side of the state to another to organize. So we do encourage smaller city level, maybe town. It could be in a whole community, a neighborhood chapter. But I did see Erica with a little hand up. So I don't want to, you know, talk for too long. But if Erica, you want to come off on mute, type your question, please join us for these last second questions.
Hi, I appreciate you taking my question at the
Of
last
course.
minute. The thing that I'm really struggling with, I'm in Connecticut, so obviously smaller state, don't really have cities, really having a hard time finding local people to connect with. And I feel like I've done a lot of research and a lot of reaching out and, posting in groups on social media. Do you have any recommendations for this?
So organizing for a smaller, and especially hard because right now the common scheme for most people's lives is just to go to work, stay at home, doom scroll, or maybe it's go out, don't talk to anyone, go back home. So it is kind of hard to find because it is the destruction of third spaces. But I think at least getting at least one person to talk to you consistently rather than finding 5 people you may talk to maybe once a week. I think that one person you may talk to every day would yield more results, be more fruitful because then you together as a two could find a third person or maybe a fourth person that you consistently talk to. So maybe just saying hi to one person and maybe not latching onto that person, but having that person, be your contact, just say, hey, what's going on in the neighborhood? Hey, have you heard about this in the town? Just at least one person to connect to, because if you're in a space that doesn't provide many people, especially when people are out here minding their own business and being individuals, having at least one person to talk to is a really great start to get that community building going, because it starts from somewhere. Communities are built from individuals, not just a bunch of people coming together who don't know each other. It's the connections start with your individual conversations. So for your situation, it would just be try to break out into one person without like trying to seek another existing community that is not there. So just one person
Yeah.
talk to, share some, stories, connections, but at least get that one person, aware conversation, before going out trying to find a big old community.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Also, if you're in the north, like we have a bunch of stuff we're working on in Massachusetts. Like we're gonna do stuff in Boston if that's not too hard to get to, and there's some Western Mass stuff too. And also like whatever other state borders you're close to, it might be worth messaging someone in one of those groups and saying like, because often when I go across state lines, I find like other people in Albany who are from Massachusetts, but there's no whatever golf club in Massachusetts, so they go to New York, right? And then you make friends that are more local than you thought in the first place. It's just one idea.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
And we'll keep our eye out for resources or any activity in Connecticut as well to help you out.
Thank you.
No problem.
So cool. If that were all the questions, any last second questions, we'll take them. But if that was all the questions, thank you everyone for joining us. This session is recorded for like 1,000 times. We said it will be on YouTube, whatever. But I just want to leave us off, for the 30 people that are here. A general strike, unlimited little patch, isn't that a little cool? But this symbol right here, the general strike, is not just some day where you pick up a picket sign and say, more wages, more rights. Give us, and then going back the next day to your job or to your consistent oppressive conditions. A general strike is intentional. A general strike or a strike at which you commit to is an active defiance against the system. So whether you may not think it or not, but a strike, and you're committing to a strike when you shop at a farmer's market. You are striking when you are, happen to be unemployed because you're not contributing to that. But if you are employed, don't think that's a bad thing. You can strike in many different ways, many different capacities. You don't have to just be standing in front of your workplace demanding more wage, work conditions, more days off or whatever. These concessions and demands are what we're fighting for. But the essence and the philosophy of a strike does not come from the actions you may otherwise think a strike would constitute. A strike is just you acknowledging that the system has, done wrong against you, and you are actively going against, how that system operates onto you. So of course, farming, I would say farm at local farmers markets, go to your thrift shops, go to your local businesses, right? Go to corporations for your needs, right? As much as, as hard as it is to get yourself off of, corporations' reliance, going to your local businesses helps build community. And that is what we're, striking for. We're striking against the system by building community, right? We dismantle capitalism by building socialism. You don't just dismantle capitalism and then tear it down. You build another mode of production on top of that, which dismantles the previous mode of production. So if you're going against capitalism, we are doing another thing in the same process, building socialism. But that socialism, of course, is rooted in community. And so when we break down individualism and capitalism, we build up community. We're doing two things at once when we're striking. We're saying no to capitalism, saying yes to community building. So don't think that when you're out striking or, striking is one thing. Striking is many different things that we embody. And especially it's going to be against the system. That's what we're striking for. We're not just striking to say, hey, I want more money and more pay. And that's all fine and dandy. No, we're striking to establish a world at which oppression is no longer. We're striking for a world at which everyone is truly equal, at which an individual can freely express themselves, to which they do not feel fear for their expression to be criticized or, hated upon or, whatever it may be. We are here to strike for a world in which people can just freely express themselves. Of course, capitalism doesn't offer us that. So, general strike, that's a little my note, my side, 2 pieces right here. Love you all. Recording, YouTube, Jitsi and all that stuff. You already heard about that. So if Dave doesn't have anything to say, that is all. Good night, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Yes, thank you all for being here. Thank you, comrades. Love you all. I have nothing else to say. I'm just here to the very end. You're just going to see my face.